What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and before we dive into today's truly incredible feature, make sure you hit that subscribe button because what you're about to see is something you simply don't come across every day. Today, sitting in front of us in all its rare, angular glory is a car that perfectly defines what 1970s grand touring design and engineering was all about. A car that blends exclusivity, forward-thinking design, and Lotus's pure driving spirit. Yes, I'm talking about the 1977 Lotus Eclat, a car that came from the golden age of British motoring and still, to this day, turns heads everywhere it goes. Now, if you're familiar with Lotus, you know the brand has always been about lightweight engineering, precision handling, and giving drivers a sense of connection to the road that few other manufacturers could ever replicate. The Eclat was a car that represented a bold move forward for Lotus. It wasn't just another small, stripped-down sports car. It was a fastback grand tourer with more practicality, more refinement, and yet still infused with that quintessential Lotus DNA. The Eclat stood alongside the elite and gave enthusiasts a choice a bit more practicality in design, but still keeping the sharp handling and road manners Lotus was renowned for. Let's start with the design. The 1977 Lotus Eclat carried those unmistakable wedge-shaped lines that were iconic of the 1970s. With its low stance, crisp body angles, and fastback profile, it looked futuristic when it was launched. To this day, when you see it in person, it still feels like something out of an era that dared to experiment, dared to push boundaries, and dared to go beyond the safe designs of its rivals. The fiberglass body was laid over a steel backbone chassis, keeping weight down while still offering structural rigidity. And because this is Lotus, weight saving was never just a philosophy, it was the central mission. The Eclat weighed less than many of its competitors of the time, which gave it an immediate advantage in agility and driving dynamics. Under the hood, the Lotus Eclat of 1977 came with the legendary 2.0-liter Lotus 907 engine, part of the Lotus 900 series. This all-aluminum 16-valve twin-cam engine was advanced for its time, producing around 160 horsepower. It might not sound earth-shattering by modern standards, but in the late 70s, in a lightweight chassis, this was plenty to deliver engaging and spirited driving. Paired with a slick shifting manual gearbox, the Eclat could sprint, corner, and cruise with elegance. Later models even received a 2.2-liter engine for added torque, but the early 1977 cars still carried that sharp, high-revving character that purists love. Inside the Eclat, Lotus aimed for something far more luxurious than its earlier offerings. This wasn't just about lightweight racing buckets and bare interiors. This was Lotus stepping into the grand touring world. The cabin was trimmed with wood veneer, leather, and plush carpeting, creating an atmosphere that invited you to take long journeys rather than just short blasts. The 2x2 layout even meant you had rear seats, something quite unusual for a Lotus at the time. Sure, those back seats weren't exactly limousine level in space, but they added to the car's practicality. The hatchback design gave real luggage space too, which made the Eclat more usable than many of its contemporaries. But here's where Lotus cars always shine: on the road. The 1977 Lotus Eclat had handling characteristics that outclassed almost everything else in its category. Independent suspension at all four corners, near perfect weight distribution, and that featherweight chassis meant the car hugged corners with precision. Road testers of the time often praised the car for its stability, balance, and ability to inspire confidence at speeds that left others unsettled. It wasn't about brute horsepower or straight-line drag races. The Eclat was about the art of driving, about the feedback through the steering wheel, and about making every journey an experience. One of the things that makes the 1977 Lotus Eclat so special today is its rarity. While many grand tourers of the 70s were mass-produced, the Eclat was always a niche, exclusive car. Production numbers were limited, and many haven't survived the test of time due to their complex chassis construction and the challenges of maintaining such a unique vehicle. That means when you see one today, especially in pristine, well-preserved condition, you're not just looking at a classic car. You're looking at a piece of Lotus history, a piece of British automotive culture, and a symbol of a time when cars were designed with passion and originality. Of course, being a Lotus, the Eclat had its quirks. It wasn't perfect. The steel chassis was prone to rust, the electrics could be temperamental, and build quality sometimes left a little to be desired. But those who truly appreciate the Lotus spirit don't see these as deal breakers. They see them as part of the charm. The Eclat wasn't built to be a flawless luxury cruiser like a Mercedes or a Jaguar of the same period. It was built to offer an experience, a raw, engaging, emotional connection between driver and machine. And let's not forget just how good this car looks under the lights of a luxury showroom. The wedge profile, the hidden headlamps, the sweeping fastback roofline, it all comes together in a way that's as striking today as it was nearly 50 years ago. In red, in silver, in British racing green, it's a shape that captures attention and holds it. Park it next to more modern exotics, and it still stands out for its boldness and uniqueness. The 1977 Lotus Eclat is more than just a car. It's a statement. It represents an era of ambition where designers and engineers weren't afraid to take risks. It embodies the Lotus mantra of simplify, then add lightness, while also offering comfort, usability, and everyday practicality. And it stands as one of those rare classics that hasn't been diluted by time, because every drive in an Eclat still feels special, still feels connected, still feels like something you don't just do every day. So, if you ever get the chance to experience one of these cars up close, take it. Listen to that twin-cam engine revving, feel the steering communicate every nuance of the road, and enjoy the rarity of sitting inside one of the most underappreciated icons of the 1970s. The Eclat might not be the most famous Lotus ever built, but for those in the know, it's a treasure, a hidden gem, and a car that deserves respect and admiration. That's it for today's feature on the 1977 Lotus Eclat, a car that proves you don't need outrageous horsepower or flashy gimmicks to create something truly extraordinary. You just need vision, passion, and engineering brilliance. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a true classic, make sure to smash that like button. Drop a comment below telling me what you think of the Eclat, and of course, subscribe to the channel because we've got even more rare and exotic cars coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.